fangirling just as much the second time around. Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. We are the Movie Couple. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
We got a dog that's distracting us.
She's like, I want to be a part of the show. Let me be in the show. You want to see? Here's Navi.
Aww. Wonder dog.
But it's not about Navi. Sorry, Navi. You have to stay. Today, we're going to be doing our spoiler review of Wonder Woman.
Yay!
Because I finally got to see the movie.
Yes.
So I thought we'd put our thoughts out there and tell you what we thought. But there will be spoilers in this. So please, if you haven't seen the movie yet, don't watch the rest of this movie.
Save this to your watch later on YouTube and come back after you've seen the movie. So Dustin, this is the second viewing for me, so they've kind of already heard me talk briefly about this movie in a different review. Let's go ahead and start with what you liked about this movie and what your expectations were going in.
Well, going in, I did have kind of mixed expectations because I was hearing really good things about it. I heard positive reviews, but you know, I was still kind of like, I've still had so many little disappointments so far in the DCEU. Some things have been really good, some things have been very disappointing, and I thought I was going to go into this movie with kind of that mixed bag. There'd be some things that I love, some things that I'm like, about. So I was going into it prepared.
And cautious, it seems like.
Cautious, yeah. I was kind of cautious going into this movie.
Let's go ahead and talk about what you liked about the movie.
Well, I have to admit, Gal Gadot did an amazing job in this movie. They knew exactly how to film her, how to use her skills or use her strengths very well, and her physicality
is good.
Is amazing. I mean, normally I can sit down, since I have some background in stunt work and some background in fight choreography, I'm able to look at people's form and go, okay, they've had training, they haven't, they know what they're doing, some people don't. She has good form.
Yeah.
In all of the fight scenes that she was doing, she looked amazing. The way she swung a sword, you could tell she knew what she was doing. You could tell she put in the extra hours into this. And there wasn't any point in the movie where her acting was like, ooh.
Right.
And I was expecting a few of those moments. Never happened.
That's great.
And I think they did a really good job with that in the movie. They knew how to balance her because they had some really good name actors in there. You know, they have Chris Pines, Robin Wright, and they knew really how to balance her out. And now that I really think about it, Wonder Woman is one of these characters that's actually really good for someone who has kind of like a foreign accent and still kind of foreign, a kind of a character, because you get something that came very naturally to her, was that a whole new world kind of awkwardness to her. And I have to admit, she did an amazing job when she came into the world of men, and she was like, what's this? What's this? Oh, baby!
Yeah, that part was one of my favorites in the review when I said that any of the parts that she had with Chris Pine were my favorite. Their chemistry was undeniable. I think he really helped raise her up as far as bringing out some of the acting chops from her. I think she's learned a lot from him, and she was comfortable with him, and it showed in all the scenes that they were in together. And I honestly, as of right now, I can't picture anyone else playing Steve Trevor but Chris Pine, because of how well he did it. He brought the comedy, but he wasn't over the top like, oh, this guy's just all about adding humor to the movie. And it wasn't like that because it came naturally. And I agree with you on the physicality of it. It got to the point where, especially seeing it the second time, I really tried to pick apart the stunt scenes and try to figure out where the stunt double came in and where, I mean, there was one part where I was pretty sure, I was like, that's like 90% stunt double, 10% gal, but you really couldn't tell. Like, it blended really well together. And what you said about form, it's important to know that you can look good in a costume, but when you go into stunt, that could be a whole different story. Like, some people just naturally don't have the physicality to adapt as well. I think Gal really does, and I think it showed that her hard work paid off. And apparently they trained the Amazons extremely hard. Even Robin Wright, Connie, Nielson, all of them performed extremely well. On the beach, or actually in the beginning in Themyscira, they were showing these women on horseback, like bending over, shooting an arrow, and I was like, that's gotta be CGI, because a lot of it were, but not this one specific scene where she kind of leans back and she shoots her arrow and then she pulls her. I was like, that's all abs, that's all core right there. And it's definitely, that one part definitely was not CGI.
And I think they did an amazing job with the Amazons on making it feel real, making it feel tangible, and just everyone that they got around, all of the supporting cast, did an amazing job of shining but never pulling focus. And everyone just added to what this movie was and never was like, no, it's my turn on camera.
Right. Yeah, they definitely all shared screen time really well, but they let Gal Gadot shine as Wonder Woman as it should, because it is a Wonder Woman movie, but they also let these characters have their minute moments. Like, especially for me, Etta Candy. She was such a stand-up for me. She actually stole all the scenes that she was in just because naturally she's really funny. Lucy Davis is the actress who played her. And especially in the dress trying on scene, she was like, this is outfit 226. And then she's just so matter-of-fact, and she's a little, you know, it's so cute. And I loved all the side characters.
But one of the things that really stood out for me was also the visuals. Just how visually cool this movie looked. It was very colorful, even though, yeah, you can kind of look at it and go, okay, this has to be CGI. And there's a few scenes that look a little sore, but I still really liked some of the stuff that they did, like in, I can never say the name of the island. Themyscira.
If I'm even saying it right.
Yeah, but like what they did with the pool on making it kind of glow.
Oh, yeah.
When Ares was around, some of the special effects during that fight, and especially all of the kind of the ramping up and slowing down, kind of the 300 effect really worked. And all of the action scenes, so cool. You were sitting there when she's sitting with the sword, with the shield, and all of those bullets are flying. The way that they do the sparks, the way they do the tracer bullets that are coming out of the machine guns, all just looked so beautiful.
Yeah, they certainly didn't shy away from using the special effects to its best ability, I guess I could say, for lack of better words. And you just talked about that scene with her with the shield. That was probably my favorite action piece, that entire sequence from No Man's Land all the way to going to the village and the tower were my favorites, because that was when we finally got to see her in the Wonder Woman outfit, you know, with the hair down and the tiara, without the cape. We had seen bits and pieces of it up until then from the film, but like, you know, she climbed up the ladder and it was revealed, and the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, there she is. And the second time I thought, it's like, okay, I've seen it, I'm already used to it, you know.
You still kind of got it.
And it still took my breath away. Who knew? And she was standing there blocking all the bullets, and just, you know, she got lower and lower in her squad, and I was like fangirling just as much the second time around, and loved it. And let's talk about the lasso.
Oh, that lasso fight.
Lasso!
Oh, when she started to use it as a weapon against Ares in that final battle, tying him up, hitting him, bringing him down, throwing him around, and then when it kind of turned into like a whip, and it was all over the place, I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah, they definitely knew how to take Wonder Woman from the comic books and transfer her into a live-action movie. All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about some of the things we didn't like about this movie.
Well, even though I loved that lasso fight, I wasn't really impressed with Ares.
And you were talking about this, obviously, the final scene.
The final scene, that final fight where she's tying him up, I just would have never have picked that actor. I can't remember his name.
Not saying he's a bad actor.
No,
it's
not
Lupin
at all.
From Harry Potter.
Yeah, and I love the actor, and I love the stuff that he's been in. But I'm like, I didn't believe that when Zeus used the lightning bolt, and he was sitting there saying, oh, I was wounded. He looked up, and he still had that little British mustache going on.
Right, it just wasn't very Greek mythology.
Wasn't very very Greek mythology. That's not kind of how I imagined Ares in my head. I imagine more of like a Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler, and we were talking about this on the way home, and I suggested, I'm about to say Alan Rickman, but I don't, rest in peace, Gary Oldman, you know, who is an actor who, one of my favorites, partly why I picked him, but he's so versatile in both his looks and his acting that I think he, you know, could have pulled it off. But I mean, the villains were probably the weakest part in this for me. Specifically Dr. Poison. I wanted to like her so much. When we saw her in the trailer, I was like, ooh, she's gonna be evil, she's gonna be bad. And for me, she was kind of over the top theatrical, and I don't know if that's just how she was written, and if that's the case, then well, they delivered, but it wasn't my cup of tea. I really didn't feel it. I really liked the general, though.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job, and he really played when he was sniffing the gas. Kind of did that, I'm being pumped up.
Yeah.
Very well. I thought that fight that him and Wonder Woman had was actually really cool too.
Yeah. Another problem I had with the movie, and I talked about this already previously, but was the pacing. It was a little uneven, and I know in the previous review I said that it started off strong, and then it kind of did this, and then it goes back up. I like to change that now upon second viewing, and I thought I had a steady climb up this way, which is good. It's not a bad thing, but the pacing in the first 2 acts was so uneven that like sometimes you're like kind of for a long period of time it's like. It's a lot of talking, there's nothing happening if it's a comic book movie, or like there's so much CGI going on and then it stops abruptly. So there are a couple of those, but it's like forgivable, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because they still told a solid story.
And I also saw some of the big reveals at this where it's going to be pretty predictable.
Like Ares?
There was a couple moments during the movie when I was like, I think he's going to be the bad guy. I'm not quite sure, but he's going to be like a double agent, or he's going to be the head bad guy in this, and he ended up being that. Now, I'm a little torn about this, though. What do you think of them killing Chris Pine's character?
Oh, I honestly didn't have a problem with it because I think I saw it coming.
Yeah, I think I kind of saw it coming too. I knew someone good is gonna die. To kind of have that tugging at Diana's heartstrings. And I was kind of like, it has to kind of be Chris Pine. And actually, when you think about it, it works out. Because then she's gone through this incredible trauma. And she's had this, the first person that she kind of loves.
Yes.
Killed. Which will keep her around and keep her on this mission.
I love what he said when he said goodbye to her. That whole scene, I was just like, oh my god. But when he said, I'm going to save today so you can save the world. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, the ultimate sacrifice. Because you saw him right before he, ignited the plane with all those bombs. And he had to really, like, muster up that strength. That's not easy to go on a suicide mission like that and to leave behind this woman you've met and have fallen in love with her, and like you could have a future, but there's no time, because do you save the world? Do you save today so she can save the world? And that was probably one of the best lines in the movie, because there was a lot that went into it.
Absolutely. I really do like the way they edited it and the way they told that part of the story, where she couldn't hear. She's like, what? And then he runs off. Mm-hmm. And then it all comes back to her.
And it triggered that moment of her unleashing her power, essentially. And so there was an effect and a cause, and I think it really worked out. That third act was really, beginning to end, was good. I guess except for one scene, the CGI at the end was a bit much for me, where she unleashed her power, she broke out of that little shield that Ares had put her in. Yeah. And she was kind of plowing through the line of bad guys, and it was just like she was on, like, they call it, like, the magic carpet. Where she was moving at I don't know that's how they did it, but she was moving really fast, but everybody's standing still, and she was just, I get it, it's a comic book thing, so I forgave it, but like when I saw it tonight, I was like, that looks a little bit cartoonish.
Kind of looked like, what is that, the vampire movie where Edward...
Yeah, that's the magic carpet, yeah, that's it. Alright, so let's go ahead and wrap up our review. Dustin, go ahead and give your overall thought and a score.
Well, I think that this is the best DCE universe by far. I think it blows all the other ones out of the water, and it's just well-rounded. It has a good amount of comedy, a lot of good action, very beautiful effects, great acting, great support, and no one trying to steal the show.
Yes.
So overall, I'm going to have to give this movie a good solid 8.
Yay! That was my score too, and my score hasn't changed. I think Patty Jenkins did a great job directing this movie. I saw a couple of featurettes on YouTube, and she's a very physical director where she kind of hops in with the actor, and she's like, I want you to do it like this, and she shows them, so she's really conveying her message to the actors, and I think that's what a good director should do, instead of staying behind the camera and be like, oh, I want you to do this okay, be stronger. No, show me what you mean by being stronger. Because there's so many ways you can be stronger in a scene. Do you mean physically? Do you mean emotionally in the face? Or do you mean the way I deliver my line? So I would like to see her direct more movies down the line. It doesn't necessarily have to be a superhero movie, but I mean, I'm not saying no to that.
Yeah.
I love the chemistry between Gal and between Chris Pine, and I am so looking forward to her in Justice League now. Like, even more. I was already pumped before, and now I'm even so more pumped, and my score remains the same, 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it was actually kind of cool because we got to see the trailer for Justice League
right
before the movie. So we're like, cool.
It worked out perfectly. Well, you guys, if you saw it by now, I'm hoping that you've already seen the movie because you just watched a spoiler review. So let us know your thoughts down below. What was your favorite? What are some of the things you didn't like about the movie? Comment all that below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, make sure you subscribe because we just hit 10,000 subscribers. So we're going to be doing our 10K giveaway. We're going to pick 2 lucky winners during a live stream. Well, more details on that in a little bit because we're still hashing out ironing out all the wrinkles is what I meant to say. So, hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.